Go live. Let's see. Hey, how are we now?
Still says waiting.
Well, I've done my best.
It may be one of
Everything
those
says
issues
live on my
where
side.
Gabe's got to post it later. It's obviously recording.
Yeah, something's going on. So, all right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another Let's Talk About Feelings. I am Robbie Rapole. Dusty Pitstick is behind his photograph. And Amber, our honorary third-party host. And today, like I said, I'm working on this full back piece, Dr. Doom, zoomed in image, very enjoyable for me. But I am working on a really cool person that I just met through a good friend, and his name is Nick, and he is an art therapist in New York.
Nice.
The other night, and we ended up deciding to tattoo the whole back today, or as much of it as we can. So, yeah, I like when life works out like that, and you get cool tattoos on cool people, and then you have a nice time. So that's about my life right now, y'all. Even though I do have other things to yap about, that's what I'm doing. What are y'all up to?
I am relaxing from chasing the children around outside.
The old chasing the little children around trick. Yeah, that it's nice relaxing for that. How about you, Dustin?
I was gonna say you're looking at it, but I've got my little picture screen up, so you're not technically looking at it. I've got my camera off because I am using my phone that I also zoom on to respond to clients, and get all that fun stuff figured out. The old booking and chatting about feelings.
Yay! So you said you're doing your bookings?
Yeah, I've got people I've been chatting with over email, getting stuff set up that yesterday I just kind of got sidetracked, and usually Sunday is my day to respond to people and get everything in the calendar, and I didn't, so now I'm doing it today.
I feel that. Well, thanks for
What's
joining.
that?
I said I feel that. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I just put my screen up so you guys don't see my camera incredibly close to my face while I stare at my screen.
I feel it. No worries at all. But yeah, so I have an interesting topic that I'd like to bring up. Someone that I hold very dear to me the other day said, I couldn't figure you out for a very long time. I wondered how you were always so positive, and it didn't make sense to me, and I didn't get it. And I'm like, well, the truth is, I've never really been all that positive. It's a choice.
Yeah.
But like, it really, I battled with the way that made me feel for a couple of hours, because she was then like, I guess I was just listening to the wrong people who had opinions about you that I shouldn't have been listening to. And it was just a weird place of like getting caught in my feelings about it, but also appreciating the honesty and trying not to be a brat or a bitch and getting too deep in my feelings. So it was an interesting place to be. And then I went out later that night, where I met Nick, and I had a brilliant night meeting Nick and a whole bunch of other people that were really excited to talk to me or meet me. So it was interesting how I was so worried about these negative opinions of people that don't really have any influence over my life versus these positive opinions of people that had nothing but good to say to me to my face. So it was just interesting how I got caught in a little paradigm of feeling sad about it. And like me and Nick were talking earlier just about like being sensitive beings, like it's easy to take shit too personally, sensitive about it. So yeah, little brain dump there for y'all.
I've learned that people's opinions of me are none of my business.
Oh, I know that. I just don't always live that.
I get that. Yeah, it's a lot easier sometimes to tell yourself that, like, man, they don't know, but then it's still that feeling in your tummy tums of like, but that's how they feel, and I don't like that people feel that way about me.
Yeah, it's weird. And like, we know the game, we know the rules, we know not to take things personally, especially when they're not personally meant towards us. But it's easy to get stuck in the trap there. So yeah, I eventually, stopped worrying about it, and like I said, had a really great night, but it was weird. And it came from somebody that I really love and respect, so I think it's even more weird. Because it's like, man, I really wanted this person to always love me and respect me. And they don't.
That is fair. It stinks, but that's a fair outlook on it.
That's a what?
It's a fair outlook on it.
Still missing that last part. A fair what?
Oh, outlook.
Oh, outlook. Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. I also have my retainer in, so it's an exciting time. 37-year-old adult Dustie.
Yeah, man, I feel that. It's always
all right, yeah.
Being a weird, unique human.
Yeah, I don't know what I have to add to that specifically. I feel like I'm just being super quiet now.
No worries, and I keep getting, you know how it goes, you get stuck in the piece you're working on.
I definitely get that.
Now I am moving on to heavy blacks. So I'm going to be doing less decoding.
Please do not weight shame your black ink.
Oh no, I think heavy blacks are important.
They are perfect at any size, sir.
No, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this one because like I'm just getting to like base out a really cool idea and make it look really, really strong and pop with just the blacks.
Okay. What is the piece you are working on?
It's a big ass Dr. Doom. It's in the background there, but that kind of looks like Jesus. But it is not.
Okay, I can see him. Yeah, you had said Dr. Doom. That's pretty rad. Is it more realistic looking or more comic booky?
It's on the cusp there. It's between both. And the cool thing was when I showed him the image, he was like, man, I love that artist's artwork. And then told me a whole story about how he meant to do this stuff. So I thought that was really, really cool when you pick the right image. That the person you're tattooing is like, yep, that's the one.
Very fair.
Now I'm just trucking on along. How you feeling up there, Nick?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in. Now the hard part.
Oh, facing the little bit of the strong shading here.
The area.
Oh, true. Yeah, that little back part sucks when Donna fixed my pimples.
Is that the spot like down kind of by like the kidney, kind of by the ribs?
Yeah, down ribs, love handles area.
Oh yeah, that's fucked up.
Motherfucker ain't got no love handles. He's a goddamn fucking, he's a fucking statue carved from gold and marble. But yeah, if he were to have love handles, this is where we're tattooing.
Hmm.
Eh. Um. Yeah.
Nick, do you have anything you want to add, or are you not in a place where you really want to be able to talk?
Oh no, you're good.
Not right now, but I'll chime in.
Yeah, it's an interesting time getting tattooed. It's funny, when I tattooed Thor, the hand that I was doing a couple weeks ago,
Oh, you did that?
Yeah.
oh, it was my homie, his name is Thor. But yeah, you met him.
Yeah.
But you know, I thought he was gonna talk way more, and my man just like shut the fuck down. But yeah, that hand shit, it's there's a bit of magical moon dust in the hand that hurts a bit. And I always use numbing with my back, so I don't know if like the numbing is working or if I'm just tough. But I sit for long sessions. And sometimes it's really nice to just be able to shut off and get tattooed.
Yeah.
That is. I am the opposite of that for sure. I like the music and the interaction and the talking and the anything that takes my mind off of the fact that I do not like getting tattooed. For someone who is
Hold on one second.
essentially
But
It's a good way to spend it.
uh,
And you know how the new Robbie movie comes out next month?
mhm.
They want to use your car at the release of the theater. They can only have one car there.
Yeah,
But then here, I didn't want to. She's like so stoked.
I mean, do they need to talk to me?
But they wanted to talk to you about like sponsoring, not sponsoring, but like. It's like a whole VIP thing.
Am I gonna be around? Am I busy? Like, is it gonna work out?
I was gonna ask her
Okay.
all that stuff.
I'm gonna put y'all on mute for a second. Cause I have to do business stuff for a moment. Dusty,
problem.
can you take over for a moment?
I will happily take the lead. Give me 10 seconds.
Okay, cool.
All right.
All right. Laura, can you hit mute on there? Go ahead and send them in, please.
All right. So I am unmuted. How are you, Amber? I think I'm unmuted. Hello?
Muted them.
Oh, how did I mute them?
Mute me, there we go.
Okay, I am also unmuted. Amber, are you unmuted?
I am
Well.
now unmuted.
Hey, there she is. What's happening?
I've been all kinds of crazy busy this weekend.
Do go on.
Well, last night we took our older Girl Scouts over to the local elementary school, and we chalked their walkways with all kinds of inspirational sayings and pictures and all kinds of stuff like that for the teachers and the kids to be able to see when they get to school this morning.
That's awesome. They're still in school?
What was that?
You said they're still in school. Like, how much longer?
They're still in school until the 23rd, I think.
Oh, shit. That's
Yeah,
kind of
New
crazy.
Jersey school goes till almost the end of June.
When do they get back to school?
Beginning of September.
Fair enough. That is, I feel like in Ohio, pretty much like as soon as June is hit, they're already out. I do feel like they go back earlier and earlier every year, though. I
Yeah.
want to say when I was a kid, I feel like going back to school was like a mid-September thing, and I feel like the last week of August they're back now, which is also
A lot of the
crazy.
country's doing it like that. New Jersey has just always been end of June and then beginning of September. And
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with the fact that New Jersey is very much farmland.
Yeah, I could see that. It's a weird thing to me because I feel like you need summer in your life.
Yes.
And if you're going back in late August, like you haven't even hit prime summer yet. Like we're making kids go back when it's still like dark at 9:30 and gorgeous outside. Like that sounds
Hmm.
horrible. I also might be looking at it through rose-colored shades. I kind of feel like sometimes I remember certain things. Like, oh man, we didn't go back until the middle of September. I might be completely wrong. Elementary school was like 30 years ago. I don't know. that, that's not a great explanation of the situation, but I always wonder if I was maybe looking at it through a little bit of nostalgia colored glasses too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's crazy to think that they're still in school. Everybody here has definitely been out for a good week or two now,
Yeah.
which is
Most of the
awesome
schools
because
around here aren't getting out till the end.
all of my teachers that I work on regularly, like sleeves and stuff, have all started reaching out like, hey, I'm out for the summer. I got daytime availability now. So that's been nice. They swooped in right in time to save me from all of my other regulars that are like, hey, it's pool season. So see you in 4 months.
Hmm.
Is that a thing that you guys go through at the shop you're at where you have your winter regulars that as soon as it's pool season just kind of don't want it, like, hey, see
Yeah.
ya
A
in
lot of the
4 months.
regulars that are locals, they come
Yeah,
down on the tattoos during the summer. But because I live near, I'm like between Atlantic City and Cape May, we get a lot of tourists.
fair enough.
And
So
people
the
love
tourists
getting
come through
tattoos while
and
they're on vacation.
that is fair. I just went to um, see a buddy of mine. I actually told Robbie the story just a little bit. Matt Jackson, who just opened up a shop in Nashville, Indiana. He moved there from Columbus, Indiana, which is like 45 minutes away. And
Mm,
when we got there, some other people from my shop went, and when we got there, it took us very, very, very back roads to where it was like wilderness, 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 and then like a couple flea markets and some like RV parks, and that was it. And then we
mm,
turned left, and there's a little plaza with like a hardware store, I think like a dollar store, their tattoo shop, like a McDonald's and an ATM, and that was it. And I was like, I can't see you getting much business out here in the middle of this field where there is nothing else but a McDonald's and a hardware store. And
mm,
told them how we got there, and they said, "Oh, go the other direction, and that's where town is." And we went to the other direction, and it was not a big town, but it was 4 or 5 city blocks, nice little suburban area around it. But all of the stores, it was very touristy, and it was weird because you didn't see any of the um, a lot of times when you're in touristy towns, there's a lot of like chain restaurants or
yeah.
a big Walmart or Target for people that need beach towels. This was nothing but like houses converted into businesses that were nothing but like there was a chainsaw artist that just had a store of just carvings he's made with his chainsaw out of wood. There was like a,
Mm,
a wand and walking stick and like carved wood shop. There was like 2 different toy stores that were just old houses that were converted into like puppets and fidget spinners and dreidels and Rubik's cubes and weird. It was a weird. It felt like Pleasantville, but it was. They said the whole thing, I guess, is that gets a little bit of touristy attraction, and then
mm,
right next to them, about a mile outside of town, where their shop is, right next to them, I guess there's a giant outdoor music venue that does a lot of country related stuff, but I guess it brings in like thousands of people to the concert. So that's it's a touristy town because you go for 1 or 2 days for a big weekend concert, tool around the town, go over, watch the music, and then head home. But he said so far they haven't been there too long. This was kind of their grand opening, but they've been there for a minute. That like the tourist season is feeding them very well.
Yeah, tourist
So-
season is really big down here at the part of Jersey I'm in.
No, I totally get that, and it always makes me cringe just a little bit because um you get people that are on vacation and stuff, and it's like, oh, it's a touristy thing, we're on vacation, let's get tattoos. It's like the worst time to like, yeah, we're out here in the sun by the beach, we're traveling, we're getting drunk. Like, it is so the worst time. I would hate to live in a touristy neighborhood like that and tattoo all these people knowing good and well like these are all going to heal horribly.
Yes.
um so that's something that always, there's a weird emotional attachment to doing pieces that people are gonna ruin, or even worse, doing a really great piece that you're in love with, and then afterwards is when the person tells you like, oh yeah, I'm going out of town next week to the beach, and you're like, crap.
Uh-huh.
I live at the beach. These motherfuckers been doing that to me my whole career. I'm trying to learn how to make my tattoos fucking sunproof.
If you figure it out, let me know.
No shit. So that was a really cool experience, opportunity there. They're doing a thing at this local movie theater, for the Barbie movie.
Love it already. It looks great.
And they came in because of my Cadillac out front. And they want to like basically brand that as Barbie's car at this movie theater for the next few months until the movie comes out, and then have the car come to the movie theater and be there with all the Rad Ink branding on it for the premiere of the Barbie movie.
Nice.
Yeah, that's super cool. And that movie looks great.
Well, she hit me with, the female empowerment aspect of it, and I'm like, fuck yeah, dog, let's empower these kids.
Yeah. Have you watched the
Seriously.
trailers for it at all yet?
I don't know nothing about it.
Oh, I've seen the trailers. They're so good.
It is. It looks very not adult, like porno, like rated X, but it looks very adult. It basically seems about how all of these different famous actors and actresses are playing various Barbies and Kens, and they're all named Barbie and Ken, and how it's literally like a plastic fantastic life, and it's Barbie, and they can just fly, and I want to be an astronaut today. And Margot Robbie plays one of the Barbies that says like, I don't feel right here. And so she takes her Ken into the real world on a road trip to figure out what real life is like, where everything isn't plastic. And it actually looks really good and interesting.
Dude, I'm actually really stoked to be a part of this now. Even
Yeah.
more so, it's like, I just want to do like local events a lot. I love doing them. They're fun. And, I want to get the business name out there as much as I can and make it a trusted brand in this city. But like seeing it, hearing that, like, being the empowerment thing and the real life shit, and like, I just want Rad Ink to be a part of that so much, just because that's what I'm about and that's what the shop is about anyway. So that's really cool.
Yeah. All-star cast, good script, good soundtrack. You're going to have a good time.
I love it.
Oh yeah, I was checking out the soundtrack. They threw all kinds of good shit in there.
Oh, and one of the things she said is, now I'm interested to hear the soundtrack, but one of the things she said is, for $200, you could sponsor some like teenagers that can't afford to go. And
Hell yeah.
yeah, so I'll let you know about that, Dusty, because I know you're all big into like finding things to put money towards to make life better for others.
Yeah, tell me, I got $200 coming your way so some kids can see the Barbie movie.
Dude, I figured that was gonna happen. That's stoked. Yeah, man, I'm really excited about this. I think that's cool. And that fucking car, man, that car is the source of the opportunity there.
it's the peacocking that they call it in like the hookup artist classes, where they're like, you gotta look flashy to get attention. Like that is your peacocking right there.
Yeah, for real.
Having a really cool car that definitely attracts. I don't think I've ever seen anybody from any walk of life look at your car and not just smile.
It's true, man. Except for the old car heads that are like, could afford to change the color, couldn't you? I'm like, your wife loves it. Shut up.
Let people like things.
Just let me enjoy my things. But yeah, like,
Oh.
seriously, dude, there has been an overwhelming amount of love and support. Like when I drove the car to the shop the day that I towed it with my hooks, Sean followed me in his car and he's like, dude, that car gets so much attention. And I'm just like, oh, I just made it pink and pretty because I like it. But now it's like really cool that it, just doing something that I like created more avenues to build my business. And it is a tax write-off for advertisements.
Yeah,
Yeah.
us
Love
tattoo
that.
artists need all the tax write-offs we can get.
Absolutely.
I don't want to talk about how much I wrote off on my taxes this year because it didn't feel like that much until I saw the numbers and I was like, oh no. I had it and I lost it. Oh yeah, just doing like all of the stuff that you write off that you don't really realize how much it adds up. Every convention booth, every flight for a convention, every box of gloves, every et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, wow, on paper, I do not make a lot of money. Which is all good. It means I also don't have to pay as much money to the tax man, so that part's pretty cool too.
I had to pay that hoe a lot last year, but owning a shop is different.
Yeah. Oh, I pay more every year. I'll be perfectly honest about that. But for a while there, I was pretty sure that I had some expert maneuvers to make it look like I made like $8 on paper.
There's feelings behind taxes. I feel them every time I pay the tax man. But good news,
dread and then sadness are typically those two feelings in that order.
Good news is I spoke to my my financial advisor today, and she said the market's going back up. So life is a little cooler over there.
That is good.
When the market goes up, I make extra money.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I ain't be mad at that. I swear to God, I'm so fucking stoked about this tattoo. Like, let's talk about the feelings of doing a tattoo that you're stoked about. So like, first off, we met at the bar. Granted, we met through a very good mutual friend, but like you usually don't go to the bar and then end up doing a dope ass back piece 2 days later.
Yeah.
But that happened for us. And it's really cool that we just clicked really well, and the tattoo is a lot of fun. And I'm getting to do, man, the past few tattoos I've done have just been so fun. Like one of the kids that lives in my house, one of Jaden's friends, he came to the shop with me on Saturday because I had a cancellation, and I started a sleeve on him, and the kid sits like a fucking rock. So
those are the best.
Oh man. And like I did a half sleeve on this motherfucker in one day. He just let me go nuts with all these cool images and like heavy black with like neon accents and like crazy light sourcing and shit. So it was so much fucking fun. And like I haven't had that much fun tattooing like that because like there was no like guidance or like direction he wanted me to take. I just made tattoos that felt like him, and everything I did, he was like, yep, I love that. So it was really cool.
I love when a plan comes together.
Right. And then today I'm getting that as well. So it's just nice to like get this clump of tattoos that are just like really like soul enriching to do.
Oh yeah. I
So-
bumped into a guy at Hell City that I actually met at last year's Hell City. Um, when I was tattooing, he was getting tattooed next to me by Chris Powell, who is amazing. And while he was, they had planned a 2-day session to do damn near a half sleeve on this guy. And Durb, who throws Hell City, had kind of come through with the ballroom, and he said, "Hey, we've got the event space the whole weekend. They do not care if tattooing happens late. Close the doors and lock them so that spectators can't come in, that other people can't come in. But if you want to keep tattooing late, you can." And so myself and Chris and Josh, and I feel like one other guy in another aisle, all stuck around and tattooed super duper late. Like, I think I tapped out at 2:30 and they were all still going.
Wow.
And Chris just kept going on this guy. So they probably started after health inspection around like 12:30 or 1. Tattooed this dude until like 4 in the morning. Went to their hotel rooms, basically took a nap, got back at it at like 10, 11 the next morning, and tattooed him until best of day judging at like 8. So this guy is like, you won't find anyone that sits better than him. And we ended up adding each other on Instagram, and we've like commented on stories before a few times. I saw his wife get tattooed at a convention, same deal. She sat like a rock. But he, like, yeah, that dude could probably sit for 20 hours if you asked him to. He may not love it at the end, but like, he is a champion. And so I bumped into him at this Hell City, and he basically talked to me about doing a bigger piece. And like, yeah, I saw you had posted about a reschedule for Hell City. I almost hit you up, but we couldn't be out quite that early. But like, I want to get something sometime. And I am like so excited at the idea. Do you guys have that too? That anytime you get that person, like you were saying, like with Jaden's buddy, that just sits that way, that he could literally be like, I want a whole sleeve of infinity loops turning into silhouette birds with Zayden and Caden and Braden and Okaden and all the names. Like, it could be the most whatever. And I would be like, I'm just so excited because you sit so well
Yeah.
that you just like get super geeked out on it.
I do. And like, it's cool with this because he's sitting like a champ and awesome idea. But like, man, there's this thing when I tattoo somebody and they can sit the whole time and they don't want to stop ever, and they just fucking want me to just kill them. And even if they're in shock, they like pull their body out of it and stop shaking and keep going. And I'm like, yeah, like
I love it. I have a guy named Matt that's the same deal. I did a full sleeve on him. We're pulling it up onto his shoulder now. And the first time I ever tattooed him, he and his wife booked a half day because she had like 4 or 5 tiny tattoos she wanted to get. And the regular guy that had been tattooing him basically said, "Hey, I don't do Pinterest anymore." So she got hooked up with me. He's like, "Yeah, I want to get like one thing on my ribs." It was like a 1-2 hour. I was like, "Let's just book a half day and do it all." They come in. I tattooed this dude's ribs for probably about an hour and a half. He did not so much as break a single bead of sweat. He did not hiccup. He actually fell asleep for like 15 minutes at some point of getting his ribs drilled with like multiple colors.
Oh my
So
God.
ever since then, every time this guy has reached out to me, no matter what the idea is, I'm just like, yes. And what's really crazy about it is then he brought his daughter to me on her 18th birthday. And this girl is probably 110 pounds soaking wet, and she wanted to get her ribs done. And I was like, oh, sweet summer child, it's over for you. And I blasted this girl's ribs for like an hour and a half, and she sweated maybe a little bit, but she sat so good. And she's like, "Hey, I think I know what I want for my next one. Can I book? Like, I'm addicted now." And I book her for a month or 2 later, and she comes in and she gets one of the tattoos I had done on her dad, palm size, on her whole kneecap. And like, sat like a friggin' champ. Second tattoo ever. This little tiny 18-year-old girl kneecap. She came in for her third one. I've been tattooing her probably like 6 months now. And it was like going down her arm, and it kind of got up on the side of the elbow and up in the armpit a little bit. Sat like a rock. So I'm like, I don't know what it is in the water. They live like an hour away, but they are unhurtable, super tough tattoo people. And that is just such a good feeling and like an elated, like they could reach out for anything. And I would just be like, yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. I love you so much. Thank you for making me happy.
My
You're
best
like-
friend Melinda sits like a rock. She falls asleep.
Love those, man. I don't get very much of those. Like even Brandon, the Jaden's friend, man, this poor guy, like by the time we were done, he was dying. Like he was shaking and stuff. But I gave him like 15, 20 minutes, bro, and he just like snapped out of it. And I'm like, bro, you're not even shaking no more. He's like, yeah, I've been through shock and physical trauma so many times, like I can break myself out of it pretty quickly.
Mm,
All right, buddy. Like, damn. But
That's
yeah,
pretty
it was fun.
fantastic.
And for me, like, dude, like I got this giggle to me earlier, and our friend Laura, who's sitting across the room, saw it. Like I was just, you know how I do the very quick lines, Dusty, when I'm just trying to get an idea of some quick line work.
Yeah.
I was just dropping a really long one because it's a fucking giant back piece. And I was just like, you know, like, because I got so excited that I'm doing something giant on somebody awesome. And it's a fucking like fun experience. And like, it feels good to be working like this, you know? Because this is the way I work the best, you know? So it's so much fun. So even more so than getting stoked about if somebody can sit real good, like if somebody can sit real good and they let me do like crazy dumb large ideas, oh man,
Oh yeah.
that's
mhm.
that's
I,
extra step ahead of me.
I think that's what my buddy John, who's the guy that apprenticed me originally and all that, he did that back piece, or he did all the line work on my back about 2 months ago, like end of April.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I think he was so stoked because he's like, cool, I get your whole back. And I gave him a very vague but ridiculous and cool idea. I was like, Usagi Yojimbo, Neotrad, and black and gray Japanese behind him. Run with it, whatever you want to do. And he got that same giggle. But it was funny because you were talking about running that he did a lot of quick lines and kind of got it all mapped on, and then went back over everything with a 14 round and just kind of like slow and steady hammered in the hard ones. And I was not loving it, but I sat and I did pretty decent. I told him a few times, I was like, hey, this sucks. But I was trying to match my breathing to the tattoo because we tell people that all the time. Hey, it's your ribs, it's your sternum. Like, please don't hold your breath. Please don't think by being still that you're helping. Like, please just breathe natural. Don't huff and puff. Don't like breathe in and then kind of like exhale real hard. And I feel like I got all my client stuff caught up. So I'm going to turn my camera on for a second here because I have to, for the purpose of explaining this. So I would breathe in really hard and I would try to exhale when I feel him start the line. And there was a couple times where the line was so long that I would like, and he's still pulling the line and and now I'm out of breath and he's still pulling it and I'm trying not to like get my breath back, and this dude just keeps pulling and I'm just like, this is the longest line of my life, and I'm like trying to not like, but it was, yeah, long lines on the back are no fun. And the fact that your dude there has like just chilling is you are a soldier, sir.
Yeah, man, he's fucking sitting like a goddamn champ. And like I said, it's a great idea that we're working on, and like,
Yeah.
great connection with people. We've been fucking having a great time all day. So it's nice. And he's tough as fuck. Or he's just playing one on TV right now, but either way, man, I don't give a shit. If you can play it on TV, you're okay by me. Like,
Mhm.
let's tattoo you. Because I mean,
Crap.
being tough is
You're recording? All right, I gotta act tough.
What's up?
I said, oh crap, you're recording, man. Now I gotta act tough.
Right, exactly. Nah, he's been fucking chilling the whole time, really. So I'm stoked about that.
I had a guy that he was brought in by his daughter. I've tattooed her before, and she said her and her dad both wanted to get tattooed, and she brought him in maybe like 2 months ago, and then he just came in, I think last week actually, to get his second one. He reached out afterwards and was like, "Yep, I'm addicted." This dude's like 50, and he just got his first tattoo, and he's actually in pretty good shape. But he both times, granted, it was just like the upper arm, outer bicep area, but he straight up fell asleep on me both times.
Oh,
And
yeah.
man, I don't know where you guys find the willpower and the emotion and the drive to just be like, this is fine. All of this is fine.
For real, dude. I be using numbing and shit.
Yeah, I do not. I actually I take that back. I sit pretty darn well, but mentally I do not. I tell people the whole time, I'm like, hey, this sucks. Hey, why are you doing this to me? Hey, please stop. You know, when Josh did that portrait on me that took like 9, 10 hours, I remember telling him like our friendship is on pause for 3 days. Please do not reach out. Like we are not cool right now. You hurt me.
I have one client that cusses me out every time I tattoo her. And I'm like, you chose to do this.
Yeah,
I didn't choose the pain. You chose the pain.
you're the reason for the season here, baby.
I I tattooed a close friend, Amanda, the other day. I did that raccoon on her that I posted, and she sat well for most of it. The last 30 minutes, she was getting a little bummery. But she actually just messaged me today and said, "Hey, I just wanted to apologize to you for all of the mean things I just said about you at my house while taking the Sanoderm off of this thing because it stuck really well in the skin. The tattoo itself, she sent it like it's looking super happy. Most of the stuff I tattoo on her is like one pass heals great. And so I wasn't upset by that, but the skin around it was definitely like we just blasted her upper thigh right above the knee for like 4 or 5 hours, and it was a little puffy and unhappy a couple days later. And she's like, I said many bad things about you. I know you didn't hear them and I know you didn't feel them, but I just felt the need to reach out and apologize. Which is funny because that guy,
Sometimes that's just like,
the guy that fell asleep while I was blasting his ribs, his daughter also, like I said, sits like a rock. Her kneecap, her ribs. I've tattooed his wife a handful of times. She came in and got like 4 or 5 like smaller tattoos that first day, and everything stayed well except for she got like a word and the lettering goes on the side of her hand up onto her finger, and every word except for the or every letter except for the last one healed well, and it's like right on the side of her knuckle. Like I told her it might need a touch up. So one of the last times I worked on him, I was like, hey, do you want me to just touch it up real quick? We're here. I can set up and tear down in 5 minutes. I'm not worried about money. You guys already paid me for a full day. Like, let's just blast it real quick. And I tattooed this lady for maybe 20 seconds tops, finishing this last letter that fell out a little bit. And she said so many mean things about my mom to me that like legit, like the next time she came in, she was like, I'm sorry for those things I said. I know you know I was joking, but I said really mean things about your mom. I think she at one point said like she was gonna kick my mom in the asshole. Like the tattoo took like 30 seconds, but in those 30 seconds, she was like, fuck you and your mom. I'm gonna kick your mom in her asshole. Your mom's a horrible person for birthing you, for doing this to me. Oh, okay, we're done. Cool, thanks. Like
well, in those
it's
20
always,
seconds, you don't get time to like warm up into the tattoo process.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I try and tell people all the time when they get there first. I'm like, hey, about 15 minutes in, your flight or fight calms down, your adrenaline kicks in, and it's going to be better. The first 10 to 15 kind of suck. And whenever it's a first tattoo that's going to take 15 minutes, I'm like, you have forfeited that right. So sorry, this is just going to kind of suck for 15 minutes. Good luck, go.
Good luck, go.
There's such an emotional weight to doing someone's first tattoo on what you do and don't tell them about their first tattoo, because
Yeah.
I want to tell every first tattoo, hey, just so you know, if you're calm, this is going to go great. If you work yourself up really hard, then when the tattoo starts and it's not nearly as bad as you thought it was, your adrenaline's going to drop hard and fast, and you might get kind of flush and you might feel kind of like you're going to faint for a minute. And if you're just chill, it won't happen. And we've got sodas and granola bars for if it does. But if you tell someone that before you do their first tattoo, guess what is way worse? Like they immediately stress out on it. So it's like trying to not tell them, but also like probe them in different ways. Like, are you nervous? Are you this? It's a weird big responsibility to do someone's first. and to guide them through that in a way that they feel cared about and like you're actually like trying to help them.
Mhm.
And so that is a whole bag of like, how do I not stress this person out even more?
Right, because you want to tell them the truth. Like with my large sessions, I always battle with that. I'm like, look, so there's probably going to be a point where you're shaking. Just let me know. You know, let me know. We'll work through it, or we stop. But like, do you tell them that they're going to shake uncontrollably?
Yeah.
You
And if
know?
you don't, if it doesn't happen, then you feel really glad. You're like, man, I'm glad I didn't psych them out on that thing that didn't even happen. But if they do, then they're freaking out because they're like, no one warned me about this. Is this normal? Am I having a stroke? Am I dying?
Yeah.
Is this
Right.
it? I die at ratting. And then you have to like, oh no, it's kind of, I've told people a lot when it does happen. I'm like, hey, this is actually pretty normal. I just didn't warn you about it because I didn't want to freak you out. And then they're like, you're just saying that. And it turns into a whole thing. So, you know, it's a big mess, but I love it anyways. I love the tattooing like really close to the palm of the hand on the wrist, where your hand starts clutching uncontrollably and
Mhm.
explaining to people like, hey, this is going to happen. Sorry in advance, so that they're not freaked out when they're like, why is my hand? Because no one told me when I got my wrist done, and my wrists go real close up onto the palm of my hand. And I started just like grabbing at nothing and making the like the strong hand from Scary Movie, and
Uh-huh.
no one told me it was coming. And so like 19-year-old me, who had already apprenticed and already done tattoos, like had not felt that myself and like was terrified and freaked out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of weird shit that can happen to you compared to where you're getting tattooed. My
Yeah.
ex got his neck tattooed and they were dancing on a nerve the whole time. And his eyeballs were going back and forth.
Damn, that sucks. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's natural reaction stuff.
the calf where you hit the side of the calf and it makes their foot jump.
Um,
A good friend of mine getting tattooed by another good friend of mine straight up kicked that artist pretty hard in the boob when she hit just the right spot. She's like leaned over his calf and he just kind of mule kicks forward, like real fast jerk out of nowhere, and just kicked her right in the chest. That was a fun one. Trying to explain to people, hey, you're probably going to uncontrollably kick. Sorry in advance. Um, One of my favorite ones, and I feel so bad. We're talking about feelings. I felt so bad about this. I tattooed that like Shania Twain Dracula thing that I posted not too long ago. That
mm,
girl sits really well. Is a
Uh-huh.
champ. I've tattooed her before. She's a cool lady. Everything about it was good. I tattooed that. It was probably double hand size. It took me about 3 hours, maybe even a hair more. The very end, I pulled the last white line and she's like, hey, do you care if I take a break for a minute? And she's very calm and rational. Hey, can I have just a minute? And I was like, that was actually the last line. You can just get up and let me put some balm on it and chill. And she said, you can balm it in a minute. I have to get up. And I hear her very patiently and quietly walk to the bathroom and just like just threw up
oh,
everywhere. And came back out and was like, thank you, you can balm my tattoo now. But it was such a weird, she was like, sat like a rock, took everything super well, and hit that one point out of nowhere where she was just like, all right, time to puke. And that is always like,
Literally.
I think in the last however many years, I've had maybe like 3 people throw up on me. And it is such a like, you do not feel like a good person when you make someone throw up from tattooing them.
I've only gotten sick from a tattoo once, and I was tattooing myself.
That's rough.
It was
I,
actually my foot, and I couldn't do it. I could not deal with the pain and tattoo myself at the same time, and it made me sick. I eventually had somebody else cover it up, and I sat like a rock because I ain't no bitch. But it hurt less having someone else do it than it did me doing it because I was too focused on.
Yeah, you can't wear too many hats sometimes, you know?
I have a couple tattoos on me that I did on myself, and that was actually something that I always enjoyed. was that people would ask about that, like, oh, have you ever tattooed yourself? Which is funny because we were just talking about this the other day, that you'll have people like, oh, did you do most of your tattoos? And I'm like, no, I actually didn't do the tattoos on my arms. That would make very little sense. But like, I did a couple of the ones on my legs, like on my inner calf area. And they're like, oh God, that had to hurt. And I was like, honestly, it didn't, because I was so focused on tattooing that I didn't even think about how it felt.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as I was done, I was like, the nice calm feeling of being done, and then wipe my leg and feel it. And I'm like, all of the pain at once.
So for me, when I went through my second divorce, tattooing my own hand was definitely one of those things that was a super pain therapy moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go through this concentrated, specific pain and make it through, but like the same thing you were saying, Dusty, just like feeling not a whole lot because I was going through it, working on it rather than like feeling it because I was, feeling the pain. It was weird. Focusing on the work made it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the combined that with also just in that scenario that you're going through a divorce, like going through it and doing a good tattoo is super therapeutic.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Just feeling the pain of the tattoo while you're focusing on the tattoo, and it just gives your brain something else to do instead of all the other stuff it was doing for days,
Yeah. It's like punching a wall to make your leg feel better.
Right, exactly.
I do not advise to punch a wall to make your leg feel better.
No, I'd have a lot
No,
of
I
holy
don't
walls
advise
if I
it
did
either,
that
but
shit.
I have always been chronically one of those people that like goes back to work after bad things, and I'm like, oh, I need to work through deaths and breakups and all that sort of stuff because I can turn my brain off and focus on work, and it's the only time that you're not repeatedly running things through your head and all that sort of stuff. So I love tattooing when people are going through it and when things are going through it, to be able to just like, cool, I can focus on this, not disservice the client by being elsewhere while trying to make this permanent marking on their body, and just like turn my brain off. And yeah, that's a nice time to be. I couldn't imagine doing it on my own hand in that scenario though.
Well, I'm a little different than some, but it was definitely cool doing it on myself and being my own hand, because it really took the pain away, dude. Like, I didn't have any thought of what was happening. It was just tattooing. So it's focusing on not doing a bad job, and then taking away the emotional pain for a while.
I think just tattooing your own hand in general is impressive.
Well, it was a little one. It was just a little CPC initials for the Clean
Okay.
Plate Club. When I go to the buffet, I make sure that the plate is always clean. So that was that there. So it was nothing crazy.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So it made it easier.
yeah, all my self-tattoo moments were therapy moments.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, can you? I think your internet might have froze up for just a second. You got kind of laggy for just a second, but it seems like it's good now.
So that makes sense. My internet might have been stupid.
Seems like everything is fergalicious again. All is well.
Fergalicious is the way to be.
Absolutely.
It absolutely is. Which actually brought us right around to 6 o'clock.
So
Maybe that
what?
was a sign. I said to 6 o'clock. Maybe that was a sign from the internet gods.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
Wow, that one went fast today. Since I'm tattooing, I don't mind cutting it short. well, not short, but
Yeah,
Kinda.
we always go long, so cutting it even.
Less than usual, cutting it even. I got a new
all right,
line for
let's cut
tomorrow
it even.
too.
I love you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Gabe, Guy, all of the Reinventing family for creating the space for us to do something that tattooers don't always do and sit around and talk about feelings. So thank you guys for showing up. Thank you, everyone who's a part of this, and we will see you next Monday.
Beautiful.
great
See
week.
you all then. Love you. Bye.
Love yous, bye. Have a great week as well.
Woo.
Let's take a quick break too.
Uncle Pete.
Yeah, go ahead.